episode of RatG TV.
Black magic. You got to know, got to show, it's time to roll. So just tell me what you want to hear. Tell me what you want. So just tell me what you want to hear.
Hello and happy New Year's to all our fellow geeks out there. It's your boy Zeus, and joining me as he does from week to week, it is the man with the New Year's charm himself. That's right, the Wellandwingnut.
How's it going, man?
Not bad. You know what? I don't know why it just clued into me today. So every year, for the last 2 years, we've done a New Year's Eve show on New Year's Eve. They haven't been on Saturdays. They've just been on whatever day they've fallen on. And we weren't going to do one this year. And then here we are.
Yeah, it's weird. Our showtime kind of fell on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve this year, which, obviously only happens once every 7 years. So, but we missed you.
Give or take with the leap years.
We missed everyone.
We missed everyone. We did. And, oh, my God, 2022, what a weird year this was. I mean, strangely good and bad, some ups and downs. But yeah, I think all in all, this was a pretty decent year for us. How about
Not
you,
bad.
bud?
Getting better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, considering where we came out of from the last,
right? That's what I mean. It's an uptick. It's an uptick for sure.
Yeah. And I don't want to get into the whole fact that the Horned Frogs, a team called the Horned Frogs, just beat my Michigan Wolverines. I'm very sad about this. But I will survive.
But my Knowles won the Cheez-It Bowl.
Congrats to your Knowles. Almost lost it. There's so many bowl games and so many weird ones. What's up, Luke Tuff? Hey, Steve, did you see the video that Luke sent to us?
I did. I much appreciated, awesome. Man. Fucking. Yeah,
you're the man, dude. Wait, so I learned in Korea, this is I love you. Whereas here it means give me, whatever.
Right.
It's kind of funny.
Or if it's the same in North Korea.
Did I say Korea? I think it's Korean. It might be Vietnamese.
I hope so.
I'm not sure. I'm sorry, folks. Love, though. Lots of love your way. I hope everybody's
We ain't so good at geography, but we love everyone.
We ain't so good in everything. Except for this. This is what we're good at. Do we have to start the show later all the time? There are an unusual amount of viewers on today.
I mean, it's New Year's Eve, so it's. I think as we get older, and our generation of people that follow pulp culture the way we do, a lot of less of us, I think, celebrate New Year's Eve. Like we are. I had planned to be in bed well before midnight tonight. I got Chappelle in Toronto tomorrow, so not really doing much tonight. I was actually going to drink Monday night for the Bengals and Bills.
Ooh, that's a big one coming up for you too, eh? That's because you guys are one game behind them for second in the AFC.
So if we beat the Bills and we can win out, which is one more game, we're guaranteed the 2 seed, and we can hope on a KC loss in the next 2 games, which would give us the 1 seed.
Nice. Happy New Year to you too, Al. Hope you're having a good one, buddy.
Yeah.
Good luck to your Bengals either way. I have to say, mission accomplished. The entire holidays, I couldn't find me any of this Terramana. Got it today with my LCBO gift card from my daughter.
Nice.
Yeah.
Always a great gift for a fellow Canuckle.
Right. I'm not even a huge drinker. I think I only drink during this show. Really. It's the only way to get through it. Hey, if it worked for Jimmy Kimmel for those first few years.
Right. You know what? It's funny you say that because I just been watching The Man Show.
Well, I was talking about early Kimmel, though, the early Kimmel show.
And even for me, there's some questionable material. And do you remember when Jimmy Kimmel's show first started, it really hit it big, and he had to defend himself against the Man Show episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, he apologized for a lot of what he did, but
it's humor. It's humor.
And it's what got him there. It doesn't fly today, and that's cool. But we accept it for what it was at the time, and we evolve and move on. Yeah, I honestly didn't watch a whole lot of The Man Show. I think I just watched the credits more than anything.
Right, which we won't say what that is because that'll not play well.
What's the story tonight, guys? I've got shitty internet, obviously, not DocNet or Darknet or whatever it is. Blumhouse rules. Blumhouse does rule, and it is docnet.ca. Unfortunately, it is only in Canada, so you're out of luck there in Wales. I don't know why I always say you're in Wales. I don't think
Guernsey.
Guernsey. I know, but is he Welsh? Is that what it is? Or they're Guernsey?
No, because they would be south of England, so I wouldn't think Welsh. That would be a weird island for them to own, being south of them. But I mean, who knows? Because Denmark lays claims to over 1,000 islands, and I mean, how many Danish people you know?
Oh my God! In Welland, a lot, really, a lot. We're like we're like Mennonite and Amish country. You know, there's actually a lot of Danish people.
They're all my siblings, actually.
Not Welsh, not in England. Come on, guys. Wait, are you saying come on, guys, or are you saying common guys? Because Welsh and the English are common.
Right.
See what I did there? See what I did there? I'll take it. This is an exciting show already. Off to a hoot natty. 2022, what a blast. There was some great shows out this year, some great movies. We're going to give our top 5 TV shows and our top 5 movies from 2022. They didn't have to be new. Well, movies, they had to be, but TV shows, it could be in their 5th, 6th season or their 1st season. But there was a lot of great stuff out there. You're going to be surprised. Neither one of us had Wednesday Addams. Did you watch Wednesday?
So here's the thing with Wednesday was I had no intention of watching this show, not really on my radar. Then I watched the trailer and I was like, damn, this looks interesting. I'm going to give this a try. And I gave it my standard 3 episodes and I couldn't get into it.
Oh, okay. See, I liked it, but I didn't like it enough that it could crack my top 5. But I think they did well, and I liked the girl who played Wednesday. I thought she was
definitely
was great, and even not Selma Hayek, Catherine Zeta-Jones,
right,
was great as Morticia. Luis Gomez was a little weird as
we love Louise though. We love Louise.
And let's remember the original Gomez was at John Astin, buddy from Night Court,
but he's feeling much better now.
He's feeling much better. And prior to that, it was like a 1930s comic strip, and he looked like Luis Guzman does.
Almost more like what was the Flintstones neighbors? Yes,
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Someone will chime in with the name, the Gruesomes.
The Gruesomes.
Great.
I'm next to France and below England. However, England did rape. Why do I not read this shit before I start talking about it? Occupy us at one point. Now we're dependents. LOL. Also, I watched all of Wednesday. Honestly, need to work through it, but great show. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Fair. That's fair.
And there's going to be there's a show on my list that I know, especially even for me, I had a hard time getting through the first 3 episodes, but it made my top 5 list.
Over a 3-year span, well after the show was in its middle of its run, I took 2 shots at watching Sons of Anarchy, and it wasn't until I got past that first season the second time that I actually started to enjoy the show. So
yeah, I know, and that's me with Breaking Bad. I've tried so many times, and I keep getting to the second season, and I can't. Vikings and Bengals top seeds this year. Mike Tomlin is going to drag my Steelers to a winning record. What a year! You know what? I fucking love that though, and I know Steve doesn't because it's Pittsburgh, but I love Mike Tomlin though. I love the fact that the guy's never had a losing season, ever. Like, and that's the one thing the Steelers could always say is it seems they breed great coaches.
Unlike many of the past, the Steelers of the past, I've always had much love and a lot of respect for Mike Tomlin for sure.
Yeah. He's the only one from the Steelers you have respect for.
Right.
Chase Claypool, he's not even there anymore, but he was Canadian. He's still Canadian, but Halo was a bloody great 2022 show. I tried. I watched the whole thing. My buddy Brett Chan is the stunt coordinator on that show, so I really wanted to support him more than anything. But I had a hard time with it. I'm not gonna lie. Just I don't know. It was just
I never. This one didn't hit my.
And you're an Xbox guy, and you've never really been a Halo guy at
No,
all?
I was never really into Halo. I got into Gears of War a bit, the first couple, but then I kind of fell off those games as well. I was more of a Assassin's Creed and Grand Theft Auto. And,
Yeah, fair.
yeah,
Hockey, Call of Duty,
yeah.
Madden. I'm due for a Madden soon. I think it's been 2 seasons, so that's what's going to be happening today. Also, Steve, you've got your 5-second movie review this week, and what's the movie you're reviewing for the fans?
I couldn't resist. I know we're about a week past from Christmas, but I mean, I could not resist reviewing David Harbour's Violent Night.
I watched this movie. I won't give my review. I'll just say
You will give your review.
I'll give it. Yeah, I'll just say I really enjoyed it though. And yeah, man. Harbour's great. Harbour's just great. What did I watch the other day? And he was in it. So I was watching reruns of The Newsroom. He's on that show, which is for me is one of the best written shows and best acted shows I've ever watched. Probably boring for a lot of people though. But The Equalizer, Part 1. Denzel Washington, he's in that movie as well. He plays a corrupt cop, and oh my god, it's so good. And he's so good. But so we've got that. We're gonna be talking about that. Fair enough. Got to go. Happy New Year's. Well, Happy New Year's to you too, Luke. I would tell you not to drink too much, but New Year's. Blumhouse. Wait, before you go, just for you. Happy New Year's from Clanny. Clan Shark. He's a beautiful lad.
We love him. We love him so much.
We do.
We love the different people.
Yes.
People.
We talked about 2022 and how great it was. We got to meet some great people. Of course, Uncle Lloyd himself, Lloyd Kaufman.
We met Kevin Smith that day. And because I had met him before.
We met him.
The joy I had felt in that moment meeting Uncle Lloyd was just,
oh, dude!
Like, you can see my face.
He loved the shirt. He loved us. We could have smoked a joint with him, and we probably should have because I don't know how much time left we got with Uncle Lloyd, but it was great seeing him. And then, like you said, we did meet Jay and Silent Bob afterwards, and of course.
Yeah, I had to settle my beef.
You had to settle your beef. Hey, man.
Pun intended.
Pun intended. Phrasing. And hey, it was weird because as Jay did that, he was like, sure, why not? $20 is $20. Same as in town.
That shit in my hand.
Yeah, Steve did. So wrong. This is the way we end 2022. We promise we'll be nicer in 2023, but probably not. So we've also got our news to get to. We've got the TikTok of the week. We got some shout out stories for the year as well. But aside from that, because we've got 2 top 5s each this week, let's get it started. Why don't you start us off? And why don't we start with TV? What are your top 5 TV shows there, Wellandwingnut?
Top 5 TV shows. Okay, this one might be a little lesser known to people, given that Apple TV is still kind of trying to make their mark. They have a few hit shows. They had Ted Lasso, and they got the morning show, and I really enjoyed this show. I mean, we knew it was only going to be 1 season going in. Definitely could have made 2 seasons out of it, but great show. Steve Carell showing some, some of his actual, acting chops, not just playing the fool like we love him when he does, but great show. And
it doesn't even really look like him either. And is that the one where he's a therapist that gets kidnapped by his patient?
Yeah.
I saw the advertising for it, and I didn't actually get to it, but that is one I did want to see.
No, great show for sure.
Apple got some good, like you said, they got some great content.
Yeah.
Except for Emancipation. Although you said you liked it, but it is getting killed by the critics.
Yeah. I said I liked his performance. The story was tough and slow, but gripping.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
fair enough. What's number 4 on your list? And I'm not shocked by this one.
I mean, I'm a white guy, you know, I'm in my 40s. So, I mean, you got to have a serial killer show in there, right? Because
you are so basic white bitch right now.
That's what white people do. We watch serial killer documentaries and biopics based on serial killers and movies after the fact made on serial killers. And I mean,
is this the greatest one of all time that you've seen?
I mean, this was in high school. We were in high school when this took place, and this was right before the OJ trial. And this was really one of the first trials that, you know, or news stories even that just took the media by storm. Sure. And I mean, as morbid as it is, it was a great performance by, and I can't remember the guy's name.
Evan Peters.
Thank you, from American Horror Story fame.
Yeah.
It was so. As someone who's read the book, as well as seen multiple documentaries on the Dahmer situation, so accurate, and that's what made it so much harder to watch. It was hard to watch for me.
Now, isn't there another Dahmer movie coming out as well?
I think it's. I'm pretty sure it's like the confession tapes being released or something. This is all stuff. If you'd watched A&E back in the day, you've already seen all these.
Yeah. I've never been that guy. I've never been an idolize serial killers and stuff like that. And we joke about the white people thing, but we joke because it seems to be somewhat.
It is, and for me, it's always been a fascination of how their minds work, and like for a lot of these guys, like being as intelligent, like Edward Kemper, just the guy is so intelligent, and he knew what he was doing was wrong, and almost wanted to be caught but couldn't. Well,
didn't they say this? And I didn't watch it, but didn't they say the same thing about Dahmer, that he wanted to stop himself?
He was glad when it was over. He was.
Yeah. Like, did he? And I don't know if this is true or not, but did he or did he not ask to be put in Gen Pop? Because wasn't he in PC originally, and then
I'm going to say yes, I do remember that, but again, without fact checking, I could be wrong.
Fact checking, yeah, maybe somebody will let us know there. I still got a lot of viewers on. Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. Hope you're all having a great New Year. We are ranking our top 5 TV shows and top 5 movies of 2022. The Wellandwingnut with myself, Zeus here. Wellandwingnut is halfway through his list here. Well, that was number 4. He's number 3 here.
Number 3 was the show. It's a story we're all familiar with, especially if you lived through the 90s. But
I saw the original.
But it was the show that none of us knew we needed this year, because, I mean, after all we've been through the last couple of years in the pandemic, what better to get through 2022 than a talking penis? I mean
how? Okay, let's. So.
And I almost wanted to pull that picture, but I'm like, no, can't.
Let's just think. If you're watching this in the States, you're not going to understand this. But in Canada, we don't have Hulu. So all your Hulu shit goes on our Disney Plus. So Pam and Tommy was a Disney Plus show. The Talking Tommy Dick was a Disney Plus show. They were really putting the D in the Disney Plus. Dude, I watched the first episode and I couldn't keep going, honestly. It was
it was a little too absurd. Unlike the Dahmer show, this one wasn't a whole lot accurate. They definitely took a lot of liberties for entertainment purposes with this one. And you know what? It's kind of, I think, what made me enjoy the series a little more, because we lived through this and it was just,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fun watch for sure.
Well, there you go, folks. Make sure you go out and watch Pam and Tommy so you can see Tommy's talking dick. And originally they had wanted Chris Evans to voice Tommy's dick. Like, I think that almost happened. Like, it was close to happening.
I mean,
it's Captain America and Bucky.
Captain America
and Bucky. Those two guys. The guy that played Tommy Lee was his best friend, Bucky. Just saying. All right.
My number 2, this show started at the end of 2021, but it wrapped up first season at the end, or at the beginning of 2022. And we know that we're getting a second season. And I pray this doesn't turn out to be another Lost, because I'm very invested in this show. I thought there was great performances all around by all the women involved, and I'm looking forward to season 2 of Yellow Jackets.
I mean, I watched the first episode and I liked it. I just didn't get back onto it. I don't know why. It is and I've heard a lot of great things about it, but I do hear a lot of the comparisons to Lost with it as well.
Yeah,
which is scaring a lot of people off. But
yeah, it is. Yeah,
I mean,
it's gonna be manifest all over, which
good.
I didn't get as invested in as Lost. I sniffed that show right away. I was like, "Fuck this!"
As long as it's not as bad as Alphas. No, I'm just kidding.
And my number one show, as much as I love all the Star Wars properties, and we got 2 of them this year, and I definitely enjoyed both of them.
Yeah,
I didn't want to have both of them on my list because I know you enjoyed one more than the other, and both of them, you enjoyed both of them. But
I did.
Yeah, I knew there was definitely a favorite in your camp, so I went nostalgia and I went Obi-Wan. I'm not gonna lie, I love the show, and I am that guy that loves all the Star Wars properties, but
you are.
But this show, it definitely really grabbed me near the end, the final episodes.
Oh, with all the stuff with Obi-Wan and Anakin, Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I mean, that fight scene.
I mean,
it made me think after watching that final fight scene and Obi-Wan tossing the boulders and everything. I'm like, Obi-Wan is the most powerful Force wielder of them all. Them all.
It'd be hard to argue now.
And originally in the Force Awakens, like in JJ's original run, his original idea, he's recently come out and said that Obi-Wan was supposed to be Rey's grandfather. Right. I mean, would have made a lot more sense than Palpatine.
Thanks, Rian Johnson.
Oh my God. Okay, so you know me, I shit on Rian Johnson a lot. I didn't like Looper. My favorite show of 2022 has been Tulsa King. Great show. I shit on Rian Johnson a lot. I didn't like Looper. Like, I thought Looper was boring as fuck. And,
yeah, I was on the fence on Looper.
Yeah. And then, oh my God, what was he didn't? Oh, I hated The Last Jedi. And that was really all I really knew from him. And then I thought I saw Knives Out, but I didn't because I watched it just the other day. And I watched Glass Onion. So that's the whole reason.
That's the third one now, right?
No, there's 2 of them.
Oh, it's the second?
So there's Knives Out, and then there's Glass Onion and Knives Out movie or whatever.
Okay.
So,
I thought that was the third.
No, Glass Onion's the sequel.
Okay.
I really, really like Knives Out. Knives Out was really, really good. Like, it was classic whodunit. Second one, the other one, I didn't mind Glass Onion. I like Glass Onion too, but I liked it more in retrospect than on original viewing.
Did you watch the first one?
Yeah, I watched them both back to back consecutively on some website. I don't know what. But yeah, all right. So was that was your number one, eh?
That was my number one, man. I mean,
number Obi-Wan. I like it. All right. I'll head up mine relatively quick here, I think, if I can. I think I'm all out of order here, though. Where did my stuff go, yo? Oh, here we go. Okay. They are out of order. I'm missing a couple. Did you move any?
I did not.
Because I've only got 3 there. Oh. Well, give me a quick second and I'll add the other 2. Which I have to add because they were 5 and 4.
Well, how about while you're adding those, I skip ahead and we do the
do
deaths.
that, please.
We'll do the deaths.
Do you want to do the deaths or do you want to do your movies?
I can do the movie review, I guess. Well, I can.
Not your movie reviews, your top 5 movies.
Oh, yeah, I can do the movies for sure. Yeah, and then
why don't you do that? So
just from yours off for sure. All right, movies. My number 5, again, just came out I'm gonna say about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. I just watched it about a week ago, and it's one of those movies which rarely comes up. I had to watch it again the next day, and I loved it more the second time than I did the first time, and that's David Harbour's Violent Night. I mean,
yeah. It's so fun.
Such a fun movie. It takes a bit to get going. Takes a little bit to get going, but not to the point where I'm like, oh my god, like this is boring. Like just
and it's humorous while it's getting going.
Yeah, for sure. I love because on Two Separate Heads we actually just did the dark history of Santa Claus, and I explored all of the original backstories of Santa Claus and Saint Nick. They kind of did a different spin. They did a very old origin story, backstory on this particular version of Santa Claus, and they put a different spin on it, which was cool, and I definitely liked it. The first time I missed that the note was from Mrs. Claus, because there's a scene where he's like, I just want a chance to tell Mrs. Claus I love her again. And at the end of the first viewing, I was like, man, they didn't wrap up the whole Mrs. Claus thing. But on the second viewing, I realized the note was from her. It was the magic bag spoilers and his hammer.
Yeah. I caught that. I was like, wait, what are you talking about? But yeah, I definitely remember that. That was great. And what a fun movie. Like now that's been added to my must-watch Christmas list of movies, which I'm finding every year something gets knocked off, not on purpose, but I just like
the way I described it.
I stopped watching. Like I haven't seen It's a Wonderful Life in at least 2 years now. I haven't watched A Christmas Story this year. I just saw Christmas Vacation on the last, on Christmas. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, the one I did not watch this year, which I think has been a tradition every year. And I think I kind of told myself, like, let's make this one an every other year thing because I don't want to get sick of it. And it's, maybe it's because it's a little older and it doesn't view as well every time I see it. But maybe subconsciously it was a Bill Murray thing because I didn't watch Scrooge this year.
Wow. And there's somebody else. So I just saw a video with Jay Farrow saying how Bill Murray just showed up to Saturday Night Live one night. No reason at all. Just showed up, half in the fucking bag, starts fucking beating on Lorne Michaels. And Jay Farrow had walked in, and then he was hugging Jay Farrow, and then he just started feeding him punches in the ribs until it started to they didn't hurt at first, but you keep hitting the same spot after a while.
Yeah,
he's like, I picked him up and I slammed him on the ground. And he's like, and now I can tell this story because now it's all coming out there. Bill's a dick. Bill, Chevy. Now I'm hearing stories about Belushi, which I mean makes sense with the cocaine. The cocaine.
Yeah, it sucks for sure. Getting that inside information sometimes. Number 2, this one would not have made my list had I not watched this movie literally last night. So I started watching this movie and I got exactly 39 minutes in. And I thought, oh, Bill Skarsgård, kind of a thriller, suspense. Amber might like this movie. Didn't think she would because of all the buzz I had heard around this movie for the last couple of months, which is why I hadn't watched it. So stopped it at 39-minute mark. Waited until Amber came home off work. Started it again. Got to the 39-minute mark. 40-minute mark. This movie got fucked up. And Amber is scarred. And I am in the doghouse for making her watch this. I had to stop this a couple times so she could get her shit together.
3 times.
Barbarian we're talking
Barbarian.
About. Now, Barbarian's the one that we heard about at the Cannes Festival where people got up and left and people were like not throwing up in the aisle, but they were dry heaving and stuff. But
right. So originally I had Terrifier 2.
Yeah, but the people that stayed gave it a 15-minute standing ovation or some shit like that.
Yeah, this movie has I'm pretty sure it has a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes.
86, I think.
And man, 40-minute mark plus, this movie gets right fucked up. So spoilers, without giving away too much, this movie is basically People Under the Stairs meets The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh my God. No, thank you on either one of them.
Meets Don't Breathe.
I mean, so
with a
with
twist,
a little bit of human
With a twist.
mixed in.
And again, not really a spoiler, but Detroit is one of the characters in this movie. So I mean, right there, you got Detroit. It's
The
already fucked
city
up.
is a character.
It knocked fresh out of number one for me for disturbing.
It is messed.
Yeah.
Knocked fresh out.
Oh.
And I've heard the same thing about, but not that it's good, but just that it's just as disturbing as the new Timothy Chalamet one, Bones and All.
Yeah, which I have not seen.
Yeah. It's a lot of cannibal.
Fresh out number one for like most disturbing for me.
Yeah,
Something.
Amber was. I right away. I'm like, Steve. I'm like, I just watched Barbarian. He's like, oh my god. He's like, I haven't seen it yet. Steve McGinnis, friend of the show, big horror guy.
Yeah.
He's like, I haven't seen it yet. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I traumatized Amber. He's like, holy fuck. He's like, you made Amber sit through that, and he hadn't even watched it yet, just based on what he's heard.
Yeah, I hear I've heard the same thing. So bad. But it made it to your number 3 movie.
Horror really came alive for me this year. It's always held a special place in my heart. I grew up on horror movies, and the genre has really been hit or miss for a better part of 2 decades for me.
Yeah, and you can definitely tell by your list.
But this year, I mean, not exactly a horror, but definitely suspense, thriller. They definitely took it to a new level. I think it's one of the better movies in the series now, and that's Prey.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
And I've heard, and I've still not watched this. I have this still saved on my list, and this is something that I would totally like. Like this isn't horror movie for me. This is sci-fi, which I know people are going to be like, "What's the difference?" To me, I don't know why there's a difference. There just is.
There definitely is, but this one,
I've heard this one's the best out of the entire series.
This one to me meets the horror criteria more than any of the other films. The other films are action, suspense.
Well, doesn't somebody's spine get ripped right out?
It's I guess just the whole, and this is not me being political correct because I'm not that guy, but I watched it. This was the first movie ever released in an original Comanche.
Mm. Yeah, and you made a point to watch it.
And I watched it in Comanche and then watched it again with the English dub over it. And this was very much like Squid Games for me. You lose all the emotion. You lose all the actors' fucking delivery and fucking everything watching it with the dub over.
Can I just say on a very similar note that I think has a lot to do with that, fuck Ohio State. I'm sorry, they scored a touchdown. All right.
Hard texting?
What's that?
Is that hard texting? I just heard do.
No, my friend's over. Yeah. No, it's not hard texting. Oh my god, I hate Ohio so much. But yeah, I'm gonna watch Prey. Maybe I'll watch it later tonight. Who knows? That's the sort of stuff that makes me just grin.
And then again, I said horror really came alive this year, and this next movie I didn't really hear about until it was already out, and then I started hearing a lot of buzz about it. It was making a killing at the box office. It passed my number 1 at the box office, which made a shit ton of money for a horror movie. Says a lot. Yeah. And then you text me and said, going on a date, she wants to see Smile. I'm going to die, right?
And I still haven't seen it.
Smile was up there with
my response was, just don't look at them when they smile because thank you.
Yeah.
This was one
I canceled the date. I canceled the date because she started smiling too much, and I was just like, fuck that. No.
You know what? If I'd already seen it, I probably would have too. Because this movie it's one of those ones like my number 1. I saw the trailer. Not really my cup of tea. Never really been a paranormal guy when it comes to the horror genre, subgenres.
Mm-hmm.
The drive-in, we just found out that they changed possession. It wasn't bought by a real estate developer. It got bought by another chain. So they kind of did a fan appreciation thing and opened for the weekend. This was right after Comic-Con. We're like, fuck it, Smile. I rarely jump scare in any horror movie just because I'm so seasoned. And I really want to attribute this to having the car speakers up really loud. But this movie, it got me like 3 times. And one of them was, oh my holy fuck, Jesus Christ, man.
Well, we all know it though. You're just a big pussy.
So I applaud it, man, for not being one of those movies I thought I was gonna like.
Yeah,
I
when you
really enjoyed this movie.
told me that, that's why I texted you. I'm like, am I gonna die? Like seriously, because I don't like horror movies, especially jump scare. Well, maybe I.
And I really feel like a couple of those were those ones that are just so goddamn obvious, but they get you anyway.
Yeah. So, well, thankfully I didn't have to watch that. But that wasn't even your number one movie.
No, much like my number two.
Like all your movies.
I watched the trailer for this. I was like, not for me. No, total paranormal. Not interested. This is my movie of the year. Across all genres. This is my movie of the year. And I said it was my early pick for movie of the year when I watched it back in, I'm going to say June-ish.
Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, Black Phone, Ethan Hawke. I mean, man, just that it was that whole very uneasy feeling during this entire movie watching it. And again, one for sure, maybe two really good jump scares. But, for me, it's going back to those movies of the 70s and stuff like The Shining, where I watched with my kids when they were finally old enough. They're like, that's fucking boring. I'm like, fuck you. It's what didn't happen that's supposed to scare you.
Right.
And it was the music and it was that uneasiness. And the Black Phone really brought that for me. And I loved it.
And I can get it with the kids though, because it's been done so many times since we've seen it the first time that by the time they see it, it's like, oh, well, there's nothing new.
Torture porn ruined everything.
It really did. I blame Saw and Turistada. Black Phone was so good, says Alan Dion. Yeah, I might watch it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I. Shut up, Amber. I heard that. I mean, Facebook user 36445.
You watch that Topsy Jane Doe first, and it's freaky enough, and it's worse.
That would scare me too.
No, that's scary. Fuck.
Cheers. All right. So New Year's Eve. We've gone through 10 picks for Steve there. His top 5 TV shows, his top 5 movies.
I have a movie question.
And now
we have a question from the audience.
Oh, now it's going to be my turn right after this question.
I just want to ask about this. Okay, the movie with, where there's 3 of them, and the last one he has the girls. What's that movie called? The guy that changes.
Oh,
you're talking about Unbreakable.
The Glass movies.
Glass
the
Glass was the last one. No, I know the one with where they do the
Glass. Bruce Willis, Samuel Jackson, and then that guy
James McAvoy.
Yeah.
Okay, well the third one, that movie, you know, just touch that. I'd say when we just watched Barbarian, just touch that in there. Think about it.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Barbarian's messed up, and it's one of those movies that could happen. That makes it more messed up.
It's called Split.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alan. Happy New Year, Will. Will, is it New Year's Eve yet there in England? Wait, you're not in England anymore. Why do I always say that?
Definitely.
You're in Sydney, Australia now. So he's definitely in the New Year.
They're future people.
Daniel already posted about it being
Tuesday already there.
Yeah, fucking Aussies. Georgia just scored. Right on. Go Georgia. I don't even like Georgia. But
that's what you do. That's what you do.
I hate Ohio.
That's what you do, man.
Like Steve, he's like, I don't care. I just root for whoever Cincinnati. I always root for the Bengals and whoever's playing against Tom Brady.
Or the Steelers.
Who do you hate more, Tom Brady or the Steelers?
See, I do have a respect for Tom Brady.
What?
No, okay. You know what? I was actually thinking about this the other day just because I had you in mind the whole time. He's that quarterback that's always had a great team around him. He's always had a great supporting cast, which definitely helps. He's always had great coaching. And I get that leaving New England was his whole, I'm going to win without Belichick thing.
Yeah.
But then he ended up with the best team on paper that year.
Yeah,
the only reason they didn't win back-to-back was because they couldn't keep that team together financially. So always has a great supporting cast, but he is that quarterback that always makes the smart play.
Yeah.
I give him that. I give him that. Does that make him a GOAT?
I think so. Well, I think the Super Bowls makes him the GOAT. I think the longevity fueled with the Super Bowl wins, and then of course he's going to get all those records due to the longevity. Yeah. But I mean, you just can't argue the success. I mean,
how crazy is it? Just earlier this week, though, he's been in the NFL longer than he's been not in the NFL.
It was exactly 2020 at one point, like 20 years or however many years,
like 8,000 something days.
Yeah, it was even. It was so great. And Will says he lives in Spain. Didn't you live in Australia, or do you just move everywhere? And if you do, can you be my dad?
I feel like we've had this conversation before.
Did he move to Spain?
Deja vu right now.
Did he move to Spain?
Yeah. Did he move? Yes.
Wasn't he in England and then went to Australia though?
I'm going to say he was somewhere.
You help a lot. All right, let me get to my top 5 here. We're almost an hour into the show and haven't hit my top 5. I'm going to start off with the TV shows like you did. Comment coming in here. Never been to Australia. I live in Spain. I am so sorry, Will. It's all Steve's fault when you think
You're
about it.
mixing him up with someone with a very similar name.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Who moved from Spain to Australia.
That was what had happened exactly. Was born in England, then moved to Spain. Oh, okay. So there.
See?
I was partially right.
I take that last statement back.
You know what? Listen, Will, I already know more about you than I do about my own family. And with
I still forget my dad's birthday right now.
My kids still give me shit because I mix up theirs all the time because my son's the 28th of February and my daughter's the 26th.
I'm pretty sure I put it in my Google calendar and I'm not sure, but I'll look later.
Yeah, Google's wrong. Shush. Off topic, but fuck Tom Brady, says Kurt Jr.
Right? AFC, you don't get it. You're an NFC guy.
Yeah, that's what I don't give a shit.
AFC.
Shit. He's never hurt me.
Thank you.
Like Bills fans, Cincy fans, I don't know why you guys even cared. No offense, but you guys were shit the entire time Tom Brady.
The worst part is I hate Mahomes. I hate Kansas City. Haven't felt a fucking ounce of anything for Kansas City since Montana went there at the end of his career and actually had a pretty good run the one year.
The Nigerian Nightmare, Christian Okoye.
But yeah, Tom Brady, man, fuck that guy, man.
You know, he's just too eager.
I mean, he's the GOAT, yo.
Every year we had
he's the GOAT.
It's so hard for me to hate Josh Allen though. All those years I hated Buffalo and Jim Kelly, and as great as that team was, such great players.
I was with you on the Kelly thing.
Paul Tape. He's like, "Why do you always hate on Buffalo? Why do you always hate on Toronto?" I said, "It's that." I got bombarded with it being local, so I kind of just went, what's the next closest teams I can pick that aren't Buffalo or Toronto?
Yo, that's how I became a Sabres fan, though. And Buffalo's close, but nobody was a Buffalo fan back then. Because they were such a bad team.
Yeah, like Kevin Petrino.
Yeah, me and Petrino were it.
You.
Yeah.
Kevin Petrino.
John Skinner.
Skinner, that's right. Yeah.
Everybody that lived in Fort Erie, but we didn't know any of them. So. This is some real inside baseball. Sorry, folks, but yeah, that's just the way it goes. All right, let me get to my top 5 shows here. So what I tried to base my shows on was what do I make sure that I look forward to watch every single week, and that I make sure so Thursdays for some reason is always a day where all the shows that I would watch would drop, like Titans, Young Justice, all that shit. Always drop on Thursdays. So I was like, well, what was the show that I'd always make sure I watched first, or that make sure that I watched that I paid the most attention to? And for me, one of the ones that I watched the most this year, and yeah, maybe this is why I'm single. That's probably a good reason. It was a cartoon, and it was violent as fuck. There's a couple cartoons that almost made my list. Vox Machina almost made it from Amazon Prime. Great show. But DC's Young Justice, season 4, Phantoms. Wow. The first half of the season was a little slow. Dealt a lot with Aquaman and Atlantis and a lot of it was even woke for me. The guy that champions wokeness, it was even like, okay, you guys are.
And that's even tougher to watch.
Yeah,
Being of our age, especially.
Yeah, but especially, but if you're one of the like me, who's usually on the side of all of it, I was like, okay, pump your brakes just a little bit. But the second half of that season was so fucking phenomenal. It made you forget that the first half of the season even happened. The first half was still good, but Young Justice was great, and it gave me everything I wanted to see in a DC superhero show or movie. Like I got to see the Zods take on Superman and Superboy. I got to see a lot of death. Like you don't get to see that unless it's a Zack Snyder fucking joint, right? So yeah, Young Justice was great. And one of our buddies and follower of the show, Jerome Moore, is one of the lead artists on the show too. So it was great to see. I love being able to support any of my guys and stuff like that. But the storytelling, cartoon or not, was fucking top notch. So that got my number 5 spot. Number 4, I had to stick with the geek stuff, but there was a lot I really, really dug with Star Trek this year. There's a new cartoon, Star Trek Prodigy, that was supposed to be like a kid's show that's honestly had a better first season than Star Wars Clone Wars. It's literally that good, Star Trek Prodigy. Then there's Lower Decks was great in their second season. But for me, Picard season 2 was great. But for me, it was Star Trek Strange New Worlds. This take on Captain Pike. We've got Spock in there, Uhura. We're going to see Scotty. We've seen Kirk, a young James Kirk on this show as well. So
for someone like me who's never seen more than 30 consecutive seconds of Star Trek, I can attest that my boss, I've been in the same job for 17 years. Hardcore Star Wars guy. Didn't really know he was even into Star Trek, but he was. Just never talked about it. The last few years, he's really turned that page, and he's like, I'm loving the Star Trek stuff coming out right now. I'm like, fuck Star. Like, he didn't watch Andor. He couldn't get into Boba.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I get it with Boba, though. Boba was a tough watch, dude. Boba was and I know you liked it. And I know
he likes sand people.
I know it's cliche, but the best episodes were all the Mando episodes. Like the least amount of Boba in there, the better it got, right? So it seemed. I mean, that's all subjective, but I'm saying it seemed the majority of people kind of went that way. But that was good. But unbeknownst to me, I was going to take a Star Wars show above that, and I did not. Every week, this show would come out for the first few weeks, and you would talk about how great it was. And I'd be like, yeah, I mean, I watched it and the acting's good, but I have no fucking clue what the hell's going on. And Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars movie.
A lot of people.
But Andor, I'm like, why are you giving me a show about the only person in Rogue One that I didn't like? Now, I don't mean I didn't like Diego Luna's acting. I mean, Andor, Cassian, is a douchebag in Rogue One. He just is. I know he does. He's doing it all for the right reasons, but he's just, he's a sociopath. So I was not sold for Andor, and those first 3 episodes, what? But then, oh my God, did it ever really pick up? And like some of the best long form storytelling I've seen in a show. Period. Like this is up there with The Wire. Like that's how I felt about Andor. I was like, holy shit! Like what? Every time Andy Serkis was on screen and was talking, I was like, this guy may be the greatest actor on the planet, because Serkis is so great in the show.
As much as I suck Heisenberg's dick, and I say that Breaking Bad is the most complete. Not the best, not my favorite. Yeah. I feel like it was the most complete series from first to last episode. And I was like, I'm good with that. Yeah. I'm satisfied. Everything that needed to happen happened. But then Better Call Saul came along, and I was like, man, the writing is just so fucking good.
Right.
These characters are so good. It's a lot slower pace, but man, is it so good. And I felt the same way, like you said about Andor. It was just, yeah.
It's so good. It's so well written, and the acting is phenomenal. From like this is what I like in any show, and this is why I love Jonathan Tropper as a showrunner and a writer on, and he's the guy that does Warrior, did Banshee, does See Now as well. I love any show where there's no throwaway character. Like every single character has meaning, and every actor was cast with purpose because they're giving their best performance no matter what, whether it's
a lot of the times with very little screen time.
Yeah, right. So Andor, I think, just blew me out of the water. It was hard not to put it as number one, but the ones that I have as number one, I really, really enjoyed, and I watched a couple times. And what I got at number two may be at number two because of recency bias, because I've just been watching it recently. But yeah, I'm sorry, you're gonna say something before I get to number two.
Night Court.
What are you gonna say?
Dude, did you saw the trailer? Did you see the trailer for the?
I did.
I'm excited.
I don't remember what I was gonna say because.
Yeah, I know. I can't smoke in the house. You can't smoke in my house.
The last episode of Andor. I don't know about you, but I remember sitting there watching that last episode of Andor, the last final seconds. I remember sitting there thinking, "Oh my god, no, they can't leave it like that." Oh wait, Rogue One.
Yeah, well, no, there's a season two.
I know there's more, but still.
Yeah, there's a season two. There's going to be like a time jump, like I want to say 5-year time jump, but that
right. But it's not like we didn't know at all where.
Let's be honest. Andor's going to die. We know Andor's going to die. Yeah. He's going to die in a loving embrace. And so my number two show. I don't know if you watch this or not. Alan Dion mentioned it. I've never watched Yellowstone. I've never watched 1923 or 18 whatever, any of those spin-offs from Tyler Sheridan.
1876, 1823,
yeah,
1823.
But Tyler Sheridan, the guy who writes all those, wrote the show that I have as my number two, and it's Tulsa King, starring Sylvester Stallone. Stallone plays a former mob boss. Well, he's a mob capo who just spent 30 years in jail covering up for his mob boss. And when he gets out, they throw him to Tulsa, Oklahoma to go get whatever money you can and send us 10%, basically. This show is fucking great, man. It's so good. It's not too intense, not too serious where you're like, oh, like, some of those shows like a Breaking Bad.
Is it like a serial drama where every week it's like, hey, you're going to tune in next week?
A little bit, but no. It's
like
more
Batman, like Batman.
No. This is still pretty serious. It's just, it's more lighthearted, I guess. But I mean, people still get dead, and it's still a gangster show, and yeah. But there's, I don't come off it every week like I would if I was watching Game of Thrones back in the day. I was like, oh my god, fuck, good episode, but holy fuck, like that just drained me. You're not feeling like that with this, and this one that you're happy almost every week, even when bad shit happens. You're like, oh, all right, let's see what happens next week. Let's see who's gonna get dead next. So, I really like the show. I think it's a lot of fun, and I look forward to it every week. Steve Grows Weed. What's up, Steve Grows Weed? Steve over there smokes weed. So, we know Steve. Steve, we see at all the Comic-Cons. And
right now I'm smoking some Girl Crush.
And I don't know what I'm smoking. I'm not smoking nothing right now, but I do have weed. But I don't know. I got it from the dispensary. You know what's bad about the dispensary now? I got an ounce for $70 of like really good weed.
Mm-hmm.
like that I wouldn't get from like one of our buddies for
You've been
70.
doing that for a year.
What's that?
You've been doing that for a year.
I thought you've been still going to your guy. I'm telling your guy.
What Danielle
I'm not
said.
going through anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
I woke up with a burger on my chest. She did. She comes in. She goes, "What the hell did you give me?" She goes, "I woke up with a hamburger half eaten on my chest."
Wait, what?
Danielle.
You gave your daughter.
We need like a car crash gift for when this show just goes right off the fucking rails.
Because she bought a bud, right? And she's like, so she said, I'm like, that's because you use a bong, you idiot. You can't use that for cherry pie, you dummy. That's what I said to her. I said, don't. You can't do that because that's how good it is.
And she's 21.
Yes. Almost 22, actually.
But at the time, she was 14. No, I'm kidding.
She was like 20.
I'm kidding. Steve Grows Weed says, Ryan called me out in front of Kevin Nash, and Nash bored a hole into me with his eyes. He didn't like me. What did I call you out for? Well, because I said you look like Sheamus. You do look like Sheamus, dude. Do you know who I'm talking about, Steve? I
know Sheamus, yeah.
No, the guy that we always see at Comic-Cons. I always call him Sheamus every time we see him. Steve is his name. He's the ginger we see all the time, every day.
I apologize because we see a lot of people all the time.
Yeah, and you're high all the time. So
I really, really am.
Right.
It's the only way I get through 3 days.
Well, you know what? Speaking of high, I'm so high I forgot to mention my number one TV show of 2022. And I almost forgot about the show because it came out, I think, at the beginning of the year. And this is what I don't like about the one drawback I have with a lot of these streaming services is when they drop a show, they drop the entire season all at once. So you watch it all at once and then you forget that it even came out that year.
Oh, fuck. It's going to be 13 months now.
Right. But the 13 months is almost up because it's almost time for season 2 of Amazon Prime's Reacher. Reacher was a lot of fun, way more fun than the movies with Tom Cruise, because dude actually looks like Reacher in the books, right? Congrats to Canada, 5-1 win over Sweden, unlike playing Czechoslovakia.
Right?
Have you watched Reacher though?
I haven't.
No. Oh, it's good.
I was going to say The Boys.
I did too, actually.
Because it's Amazon original.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it.
The Boys was great.
That's great.
I kind of forgot about it. You know what's funny though is when I was looking up the show, when I was researching the show earlier, I almost put up a clip of The Boys. They put up a in memoriam for everyone who died from last season. Yeah, one of them was the penis dude.
That was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I was
like, in the year that we got Tommy Lee's talking penis and that.
I was just
right?
That was a big year for the penis.
This was the year of the dick.
It was.
It was.
Yeah,
so, ladies, there's a reason why you got so many dick pics this year. Because it was the year of the dick. You thought it was the year of the rat. It was actually the year of the snake.
It was the year of the cock.
Looking like Sheamus, but Nash was not in a good mood. No, Nash wasn't in a good mood that day. Like, I had some good lines that night, and he wasn't laughing at any of my shit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not funny. But yeah, he was in a bit of a mood. He kept calling me out on shit too. I'd like misspeak, and he'd be like, "Yo, man, fuck off." No, it wasn't that bad, but he was all right. I think it would have been better if we would have smoked him a joint, honestly, because he's got his own weed company now.
Those 11 o'clock panels when the celebrity has been drinking since 9 are tough.
And he showed up with a beer in his hand,
right.
And then someone brought him another one.
I won't mention the others because obviously I just called him
You
out.
see, Andrew Berjanishki is going to be back this year.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
You get that panel.
He's hoping.
Yeah, I bet he is hoping.
Steve's already canvassing for me to get David Howard Thornton, who plays the Clown Terrifier.
Oh, yeah. I figured you'd get that one anyways. I was pushing for you to get that one too. It's just you have to realize. So we're going to do inside pool here. So when it goes to the panels, it's Tanner gets first choice on everything.
And that's what I said to Steve. He's like, right away, he's like, you should do that panel. I'm like, I'm not going to get first pick. He's like,
yeah. And then I get second. So you can definitely have Terrifier, dude. Definitely have Terrifier, dude. I'll give you that, dude. But There's so like Trish Stratus is going to be like, but then there's so many people going to be there this year
And we're not even halfway through the announcements yet.
Yeah. Who else is going to be there before we get into it? Do you remember offhand?
Oh man, I'd have to.
I'm gonna try to pull it up right here, but I know that I was looking at it and I'm like, okay, there's going to be a few that I'm going to want to take that I gotta tell everybody. You're gonna have to tell Steve you can't have these ones. Tyler Mane you can have, although he was great as Sabretooth and he was a pro wrestler. Michael Rosenbaum. I mean, I'm going to fight Tanner for that one. We are going to fight for that one.
Sure. Carrie Elwes.
Carrie Elwes, Lita, Trish. Lita and Trish will be the same panel, is my guess.
Yeah. Giancarlo.
Wait, Tina Louise is still alive?
Mickey Dolenz is? Cherry Mouse.
Chaz Palminteri is going to be there, right? Did you see that? Chaz Palminteri?
No. Oh, yeah. I did see that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good get for sure.
Giancarlo Esposito and John Heater. You can have Mickey Dolenz.
Right.
I loved the monkeys growing up.
Yeah, you like him now. You mean growing up?
Is he the last one left? I think
he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is the last one left. All right, I'm gonna get into my movies right now. Top 5 movies because we're an hour in and we haven't hit our sponsors yet. We will get to our sponsor DocNet right after this. But if you're looking for cheap internet, go to docnet.ca. All right, so number 5 on my movies. I bumped some stuff. So like here's my list. I had like some. I did that quick so people can get like a spoiler. But I had like a possible list and then like what actually made it. Yeah. Forged in Fire almost made my list though for my TV shows. I love that show so much.
It's just where they make the swords.
Mm-hmm.
They make everything. They forge it up. Fuck you, Ohio State. They scored again. Damn it. Anyways, we will start with number 5. So this was a weird year with movies for me. I looked around and I tried to look at all the movies that I watched this year. And I found that I think I watched more movies that were older movies for the first time this year than I did that were new movies. There wasn't a lot that really jumped out at me for movies. So, I mean, there was some that I watched, but some I was just like, I'm not too sure. Met Tyler Mane at Comic-Con 2018. Cool dude. Yeah, he seems very cool. So with that in mind, my movies list, I don't know. It may jive with some people, may not. But I bumped a movie that I had at number 5 and took it off the list. What was it that I had on there and I took it off? Oh, I had Batman, Robert Pattinson Batman on
The
there,
Batman.
which is a good movie. But for me, it was a really good movie one time. It's not a multiple viewing movie. So that kind of dropped it off of there. And because I thought of that, I was like, well, what's something that I could watch multiple times and I would like it. And for me, and this might be, again, recency bias, but I just watched both these movies. And for me, it was Glass Onion, Knives Out, Ryan Johnson flick. Was it? I didn't think it was as good as the original Knives Out. I still don't really dig Dave Bautista as an actor. I love the roles that he picks. I think out of all the actors, all the wrestlers that are actors, I think he's a
So you're not running out to watch Knock at the Cabin.
I might. I think it looked good. I'm not even lying. I thought it looked good.
You know what? I actually stopped the trailer halfway through because I quickly realized it's one of those trailers that gives away way too much, especially for an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
That's why I read about
And
it.
especially with the new law in the States too, where you could sue
Right.
fucking companies for
Misleading
trailers. Like Marvel's fucked.
No, I stopped watching the trailer.
Yeah, but so this movie was a good movie though, and especially after you watch the movie, and then I went back and I watched New Rockstars, their breakdown of it, and all the stuff that Ryan Johnson threw in it. That you're like, oh my god, it was there. Everything was there in your face the entire fucking time. Have you seen any of these movies yet?
I haven't yet. I know Catherine Hahn was in the last one, and I'm a huge
Yeah.
fan of her. So
Yeah, and to me, that's not the best one out of the two. It's better for when you watch it back and you see all the shit that how they did it. But yeah, the first one for me was a much better movie. But 2022 wasn't the best years of movies for me, at least. So number 5 definitely was Glass Onion. Number 2, this movie I had a lot of fucking fun with. I knew I was gonna have fun with it. I didn't really have much doubt about it at all. And it was an ensemble cast, and to me, it was almost like a throwback to the old Rat Race or the Smokey and the Bandit movies, or even the Ocean's 11. Not so much car racing; it's just an action comedy ensemble cast. It's got everybody in the world in the movie, and that was Bullet Train, starring Brad Pitt, Andrew Koji, Bad Bunny. I mean, Aaron Taylor Johnson, you name it, they were in it. And it was just a really fun movie. Much of a plot? No. Fun movie? Yes. Oh my God. Have you seen it yet?
no, I almost watched it a couple times, but yeah.
There's I won't say there's a few cameos I haven't mentioned yet that just kind of show up and you're like, oh shit. And
that's kind of the first impression I got was it's okay, this is probably gonna movie I'm gonna like, but it's gonna be one of those run of the mill movies I like.
Yes. It's not a movie you have to go out of your way to make sure you watch. Oh, I gotta watch it right away. But it's a movie once you watch it, every time you've got something to do and you need background noise, it's a great movie to have on in the background. So if that makes sense.
No, for sure.
Yeah. My next one, a bit of an ensemble cast movie. And it's getting a lot of Oscar buzz, which I'm kind of shocked about because it's such a weird fucking movie. And I love it because you know me, you know how I love like astrophysics and time travel and parallel universes and all that kind of shit. And this one was all of that. Let's just say it was everything.
For the next pick, I was off.
Okay, well, she's everything everywhere all at once. Hey, Facebook user 64742, go watch This Is Us.
I did. I've gone for a while.
Everything everywhere all at once.
Cried for hours.
Oh, I know. I still won't watch it.
You, me, her too.
I cried.
You did? Did you
hold her for hours?
Did you finish watching? Did you watch it too? I was gonna say I didn't think you watched.
I caught the odd episode.
Yeah, and you cried.
Like, well, I thought he was dead. I'm like, babe, they're looking back. Shut up.
I just kept asking where the twin brother was.
He's like, why? I thought he was dead. What happens? He's like, the twin brother. Shut up. He's such a jerk about it. Like, shut up, man.
He got halfway through it. He's like, this isn't Heroes. Everything Everywhere All at Once was a great movie. Michelle Yeoh, Hugh Quinn. I can't say his name properly, but Short Round from Indiana Jones was back, and Jamie Lee Curtis. And this movie was just about the multiverse and all those different variants of you. And it was really funny in the year of DC doing multiverse stuff and Marvel doing multiverse stuff. And the best multiversal movie came from neither of them. So really good movie, lots of fun. I don't know if it would be up your alley though. I don't know if that's like.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I remember hearing about it briefly, and I remember you raving about it, but yeah, I haven't watched it. So
yeah, I like that. I had a lot of fun. My number 2 movie, just trying to get this going here. Here's one I didn't like the original. I honestly did not like the original movie. The sequel though, I went and watched it, and I wasn't expecting much, and it literally blew me away. I thought it was way better than the original. I had a lot of fun with it. There was for sure
blew you away like ludicrous speed,
like Mach 5, yo. And that was Tom Cruise in Maverick. This one, like I said, it was a really fun movie. It was well written, and what I like about this sequel was it seemed to remember who the character was and build onto that and build him from where he would have been. It's still the same attitude, but he's older, a little bit more wiser. Unlike where we see Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi and we see Luke Skywalker, who's nothing like he's ever been before. And you're like, oh,
Maverick, not Tom Cruise. Maverick.
Mhm.
Tom Cruise, Maverick.
Mhm.
What? She doesn't like Tom Cruise?
You know how I feel, and I'm trying to get her to shh.
My
Because she
favorite,
literally just read me this story that shh.
my favorite Tom Cruise character is
Okay.
is Tropic Thunder. That is my favorite.
Mine too.
favorite.
Mine
That is awesome. That is
All
like the
Well,
best.
Last Samurai
Moving
is a
on.
movie. And yes. And wait till he plays L. Ron Hubbard one day.
You know what? You know who I can really see in that role? Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, but he's gone.
Too soon.
Didn't he die? I'm pretty sure he passed away.
He
right?
did.
Too soon. You're gonna make me cry, just like my number one movie did. And this movie made me cry like a fucking baby multiple times. I don't know if I know I reviewed the movie, but I think you didn't see it at the time. Have you seen it yet?
I got about halfway through it, and I was having a lot of trouble streaming it. It was pausing and freezing. I was getting the audio, but not the picture. So I ended up stopping it. And by the time we did a show, you had watched it, and I hadn't seen it at all yet. So, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Well, I hope you get to watch it again.
I did finish it.
Oh, did you? Did you cry? You don't cry. You're a bastard.
I do cry, but I didn't cry with the.
You're a heartless bastard.
I didn't.
You're a heartless bastard. Our hero, our doppelgangers, if you will. That's right. Clerks 3 was my number one movie of the year. Like I said, there wasn't a lot of movies from 2022 that I actually watched this year. I tried to put Spider-Man on there, and I'm like, oh shit, that was 2021. So that didn't work. This movie was great though. I thought it was a perfect bookend to the end of Clerks. We knew there was a death coming. I just don't think we expected it to be the way it was. And I mean, they touched on a lot of shit that us Gen Xers go through or are going through at this point. Like, we're at that age where that could be you and I. At any second, either one of us could just drop dead from the heart attack, right? So
I fully agree. It was a great bookend to the series, given it, if it's going to be a trilogy. The subject matter obviously, hits home.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, but I didn't enjoy this movie as much as I have his movies in the past. But to be fair, Clerks was never my favorite movie of his.
Fair, yeah.
View Askew verse.
Yeah.
So
fair enough. Yeah. Well, hey, he just announced his next 5 movies, including Moose Jaws, and neither one of us has that as our story. Weird.
I was going to add it, but I actually cut it at the last second just because I knew we had 2 top 5s.
Yeah. Well, you can add it next. Anyways, that was my number 1. So I hope everybody enjoys. We're about to get to Steve's 5-second movie review. Before that, I do want to remind everybody, if I know Christmas just hit, so you're probably feeling the financial pinch. I know I am. I know I'm sure Steve is. I know we all just paid for gifts. Plus, it's the end of the month, so we're paying. We got rent coming up right now, and you're like, "Where do I save money? What can I do? What can I do to put some money back in my wallet?" I'm here to tell you, you can do it. And the best way to do that without sacrificing any type of service is to switch from whoever big name internet company you're with and go over and see that place that Steve's pointing to right there, docnet.ca. Docnet.ca. They are helping Canadians, especially Ontarians, get the best and fastest internet for a cheap, affordable price. Come on, cut the cable from the big guys. Save some money, put some money in your wallet, and have DocNet connect your home to the world. DocNet.ca. Tell them RatG TV sent you. That's it. Okay, I'm going to put you solo for a second. You're going to talk for a second, and I'll be back. Okay.
So we're going to get to the news next. I'm going to jump forward because we didn't have this as a story. And I'm just going to talk about this now before we actually get into This Week in Geek. But Kevin Smith, he did I don't know if it was like a scheduled evening with or what it was, but did some kind of panel, and he mentioned a bunch of movies. He's got a new project coming out, which is original, called 4:40, like 4:40 p.m. We've got Twilight of the Mallrats, which is still kind of in question. I mean, he didn't really confirm that one. We've got Tusk 2, which he's confirmed. We've got Red State 2, which he's confirmed. And then there's a great story about him sitting with executives talking about, they're like, oh, what do you got? What do you got coming down the pipe? And he's like, oh, I got this story. And they're like, all right, yeah, what else you got? And he's like, all right, well, I got this one where it's basically Jaws, but it's with a moose and it's in the, wilderness. And they're like, what do you think the budget on something like that is? And he's like, about $3 million. He's like, we'll make 3 of them.
3 what? I missed all of that. Oh, Moose Jaws.
When he pitched Moose Jaws, they asked him how much it was going to cost to make it. And he's like, about $3 million. He goes, we'll make 3 of them.
Well, especially if you're making it in Canada.
Right. Well, he has to complete that True North trilogy because although we're getting a Tusk 2, that's still kind of a side story.
Right.
We need that complete True North trilogy.
It's just wrong. It's just so wrong. You know what? Why don't we just do the news? Wait. Let's not do the news. Like, we're going to do the news, but I think we should do...
no news is any news without...
Whoa. You can't say it just like that. If you're going to say it like that, you got to be like, oh, what's news with Gary Gnews? Right. What was it? No news is good news. No news is good news with Gary Gnews. Amy
Great Space Coaster.
That's right. And I think I've told you this before, and if not, can you tell me if I'm alone in thinking this? But when Great Space Coaster was out, I honestly thought that they came up with the song "Bicycle" from Queen because they used to sing that song all the time.
I definitely don't remember making that connection or having that memory, but yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, because they sang it all the time. And
I mean, To this day, up until about 3 months ago, I thought one of these things are not like the other was a fucking Who song. So
Sesame Street. Are you just fucking with me?
I'm fucking with you.
Wait, I need more tequila. You fucker. All right, you know what? With that in mind, why don't we just get to the movie review? Because it's time for Steve's 5 second movie review by Steve. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Well, somebody's gonna actually sit here and watch.
He's young alone in the kitchen too, so I get it.
What's that? It is time for Steve's 5 second movie review.
You'll feel better in a second when I have to do the review.
I will. Will I be feeling jolly after you do your
maybe
Violent Night? Ooh. All right. Well, folks, if you've never seen the show before, if this is your first time joining us, where the fuck you been? But 2, this is the part of the show where Steve reviews the latest movies and gives us his thoughts on said movies. Now, the whole thing of it is he's only got 5 seconds to say that review, and I'm going to put the 5 seconds on the board when Steve is ready. Now, Steve, you've got the movie Violent by Night. Are you ready for this?
I am ready.
Violent Night. I don't know why I say Violent by Night every time. All right. Well, we're going to do the high-tech thing here. I'm going to put 5 seconds on the board. 5 seconds is on the board. You may begin now.
Silent Night. Holy fuck, was this a good fucking movie?
Oh my God, it was. So you liked it then?
I did like it. It's definitely a Christmas tradition from now on.
Does this? Because I'm hearing everybody say it's Die Hard at Christmas, and I'm like, Die Hard's already at Christmas. But does this take over for Die Hard for you? Like, what are your thoughts here?
You know, maybe if I was 10 or 15 years younger, maybe, but being of the age I am, I think Die Hard will always hold that nostalgic factor, having it, of course, always be the origin story of Officer Carl Winslow, who just changed his name to Carl Winslow for some fucking weird reason.
Right.
But I mean, just it's a classic. So, but this is definitely set its place at the table for sure.
Nice. So what can you tell us about this movie for those that haven't watched it yet?
This movie is Die Hard meets Home Alone meets whatever Santa Claus movie you want to fucking pick.
Can we just
throw in some Norse mythology?
Norse mythology, exactly. I like that. The candy cane. Oh no! I'm sorry. Never mind. I just mixed that up. I was thinking of Murderville for half a second.
That was great.
Right? The Murderville candy cane. What was the point of Pete Davidson? Anyways, before we get to that, because
we'll ask Kate Beckinsale
or Ariana Grande, which seems he wasn't too
Kardashian.
bad. What do you give this movie?
I gave it a solid 4.
You gave this a 4. Nice.
I enjoyed the hell out of this movie.
It was a lot of fun. This is one that I feel you don't even have to wait to Christmas. And that's that's why I have Die Hard always so high as on my Christmas movies. It's not because I think that it's so full of the Christmas cheer more than anything else. When it comes to the Christmas movies, it's the one that I watch year round. It's the only one. But now with Violent Night,
they did not hold back on the kill scenes.
No, it was great. It was great. And Leguizamo is great in this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
But Leguizamo, I think, is almost always great.
He really is.
Like, I think back to when he played the Violator in
Bond movies.
Yeah, the clown. Yeah, it was so crazy. So yeah, there you go. So 4 out of 5 for Violent Night.
And you?
What's that?
You enjoyed it as well?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's right up there with Die Hard, where I'll watch it all year round. It won't have to be Christmas for me to watch this movie. And Gremlins, love Gremlins. Never ever watch it. Never want to.
I watched it this year.
Did you?
It's not an every year movie for me, but I did watch it this year.
Did it hold up?
I still love Gremlins. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you? That was maybe my first
second one, not so much.
That was my first jump scare movie that I think I can remember. The fountain scene. Remember where is it Spike that jumps out at the end and he's like all melty and stuff out of the fountain? Yeah, good times. Good times indeed. So yeah, there you go, folks. We're just flying through the show. And yeah, I know normally on New Year's Eve you're used to us being here till midnight. We're not doing that tonight. I'm sorry. No charities this year. No big shows. We're gonna go to bed early, but maybe next year. Go Georgia. But yeah. But we're still here for you, and we're still going to do the news for you because you guys need to know what's been happening in the world of geek, right? And when it comes to the world in geek, what's better than this week in geek? Well, we are back. Oh, you're cracking another one already. All right. Well, cheers to that, buddy. So, start of news every week. We turn things over to Dr. Death himself. That's right. The Hollywood Grim Reaper, the Wellandwingnut, as he gives us who has passed away this week in the world of geek.
I didn't do it.
It's your fault. I heard you say that it was a slow month with celebrity.
I mean, a couple times it was, but this week it wasn't me.
It was all Steve. He's like, we're going out with a fucking bang. And boy, did we ever. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, Death.
Probably one of the most well-respected journalists in the game. Her career spanned so many decades. We grew up with her. Our parents grew up with her. Our kids grew up with her. Everybody grew up with her. She was one of those people that just asked the tough questions, and she always got the exclusive interviews, man.
Yeah, Barbara Walters, or Barbara Wawa, as they used to say at Animaniacs all the time. When I went back to college for journalism, they would always tell me, like, I would do interviews and they're like, oh, you do these really, really good. And even when we interview people here, actors usually tell me, oh, like, this is one of the better podcasts or one of the better interviews we've done. And it's because of one thing that I heard Barbara Walters say. And she said, when you interview somebody, she's like, I only have like 2 or 3 base questions I'm going to ask somebody. Every other question that I have for that interview is going to be based off the answer they just gave me for one of those base questions. And that's true. Like, and I think that works in everyday conversation. But you said it, trailblazer. Like, I mean, not a feminist by any stretch of the means or stretch of the meaning of the word, but she was a trailblazer when it came to women in journalism, when it came to women just of not of power, but in positions of prominence. Like she's right up there and always has been. And I think well-deserved respect over the years.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
From one legend in the game to a legend in his own game, having just finished up the World Cup, and to lose a guy like this, Pele. I mean, it's a name we didn't really grow up being, that exposed to the world of soccer, the world of World Cup, the world of, these international superstars, like a lot of countries did. But we knew fucking Pele.
Everybody knew Pele. Pele. However you wanted to pronounce it. But an ambassador for human rights, an ambassador for race relations, and then arguably the greatest soccer player of all time. I think Messi maybe this year surpassed him. Hard not to say that. But, I mean, for impact on the game, impact on the world, there was no one like Pele. So that was a tough one, especially coming right off of that. And there's another one that we missed that we did put on as well, that his death happened right before something influential too, and that was the great Frank O'Hara. We lost last week, I believe, right before he was supposed to be inducted into, was it the Hall of Fame? So
his number was retired with the Steelers. Yeah,
that's what it was, right? Yeah. The Immaculate Reception. So I figured I'd throw that one out there as well, just because we kind of forgot about it. But
we can blame me on that one because I'm a Bengals fan. So
fuck those Steelers, even in death. Not all we lost though. We lost a lot of people.
No, when it comes to wrestling, I think it's almost. I think the guys that call the shots are almost more memorable than the guys that we watch fucking bleed out and give everything in the ring, because those are the guys that are there week to week. They're there match to match. Yeah. And they're the guys that really, hit home with you. And this guy was no different. You obviously, being of the wrestling world longer than I have, since I haven't watched it really since the 2000s, but Don West.
Yeah, Don West was – so Impact Wrestling, I talk about Impact Wrestling a lot. Josh Alexander, who I often say is the greatest male wrestler on the planet today. Canadian, yes, I've got to meet him, and yes, he's wrestled for us, but the dude is just there. But Impact Wrestling, that's so once WCW went down and it was just WWE, the next big wrestling organization that was basically formed out of the rubble of WCW was TNA. Remember, they were called TNA when they first came out, and then it became Impact Wrestling. Well, it became a few things, and then eventually
it was Jeff Jarrett, no?
Jeff Jarrett, Karen Jarrett, but Ric Flair was there. Hulk Hogan was there. Everybody went there. The Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, all the guys that weren't the new blood anymore all kind of went there. And Impact has been fucking great. But when you think back to those days, Don West, that voice, he is the voice of Impact Wrestling. He was the voice of TNA. So it was a sad day. And because I have so many friends that work at Impact that and when I say friends, I mean Facebook friends. So I don't know them, but to see so many of them post about him and how shocked they were about this, it goes to show how much he meant to not just the organization, but to the profession of professional wrestling. So
for sure,
tough one.
This next guy, obviously, if you're from across the pond, you probably know this guy from a lot more than we do, but we remember him from shows like The Crown and Doctor Who.
Yes.
Stephen Greff.
Think. Oops, sorry.
Oh, I'm jumping ahead there.
Yeah.
Obviously, The Crown got so much. I think at one point it was Netflix's top viewed show during its run.
I've never watched it though.
Obviously, Doctor Who. I don't know enough about Doctor Who to know what his involvement with that show was, but maybe you can shed a little more light.
Yeah, I'm honestly not too positive. I'd have to double check. I'm a Doctor Who guy, but I don't remember.
Maybe the older 70s, 80s. Yeah,
the black and white era, maybe, or even just a little bit past that. Before the kind of the rehash with when Christopher Eccleston started out as number 9. But always sad when you see anybody pass away. But I think he had a pretty long life and pretty good one at that.
Yeah, and another long life director from the famed Cannibal Holocaust. I think maybe even if you're not the run-of-the-mill horror fan, especially if you're a little older like we are, you've definitely heard of Cannibal Holocaust. It got banned in so many theaters. It got reviews that, this movie is... There was question of whether it was real or not because they cast actual natives in the roles of the natives. And there was some, yeah. I
mean, different time. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not about to try and pronounce his name. So, Rogerio Donato.
Rosario Dawson,
right?
From Clerks 2 and 3.
So
and Josie and the Pussycats.
I messaged Steve McGinnis, friend of the show, again right away upon hearing about his death because I know he's a huge fan of Italian horror cinema.
Oh, no way! You're lying. What is it all? I don't even know what's up next here. We're gonna go into our stories because I think I have them just all mixed up here. I have yours and mine, and I don't think I actually put them in order. So why don't you just start us off there, buddy, with well, actually before you do, I mean, you just went through, was that your last death?
That was my last death.
Okay.
There was a couple other people that died, but you don't know who they are.
Maybe I did. You know who has died? Well, maybe not has died, but it seems any more Game of Thrones productions coming up have died at HBO, according to George R.R. Martin. According to IGN, George R.R. Martin says that changes at HBO have shelved Game of Thrones projects. So if you're all looking for something else that wasn't Targaryen, you may be out of luck because I think that's all you're going to get is just more House of the Dragon.
Don't fuck with season 2. I don't care if that's it. But don't fuck with season 2.
I think you're
leave us like that.
I don't know if he does because none of this is any of the shit he wrote. So does he like it? I'm gonna say he doesn't. That'd be my guess. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, what do you got next?
It seems like every year Super Bowl ads leak earlier and earlier, and this year being no different. We got a first look at Heisenberg's return. We were talking a little Breaking Bad earlier, but Bryan Cranston. We got a little preview of him doing. I think.
Oh my God! Is that a blue? What was the name of their fucking drug?
It's a Frito-Lay.
Blue Sky.
It's a Frito-Lay ad, yeah, but definitely the blue meth bag is in play there for sure.
Damn. Did you watch Breaking Bad? Yeah. All right. Okay. Here's my thing. I don't want to be all that guy or all dad like. But
Meth is bad. Meth is bad for you.
Could part
Don't
of the
glamorize
problem,
meth.
could part of the problem with the world today be that everybody idolizes fucking Heisenberg and the Joker are like the two fucking number one fucking. Ooh, I love the Joker. Ooh, I love the fucking drug dealer. Just say it. Remember back in the day when we used to like Richie Rich? No, me neither. That little fucking rich prick. Scooby Doo, though, like what happened to just liking the good people? Now we're like, nah, fuck that, man. Sons of Anarchy, Dexter. Fuck it, I even like Dexter. Damn it. Tulsa
doing the Lord's work, and I'm not even religious.
Who's Lord?
Lord,
Chris
that singer?
Lord. Chris and Phil Lord.
We could never be royals.
I'm sorry, how'd that go again?
I don't know.
I missed it. I'm sorry,
No,
my sound kicked out. So we talked about it a little bit earlier, and I kind of want to get into this with you and with some of our fans as well that may still be watching. So we're far ways away from the big numbers we had earlier. We still have way more numbers than we normally do at this time. But we had some big numbers that just doesn't normally happen. It must be. And I said that, and the numbers raised. It's so weird.
I'm going to be careful not to go over my head. Sorry.
Why?
I don't know. I was told that once.
Yeah, it's not 1980s.
Never raise the roof over your head.
I know, but
just enough.
We can't say that joke anymore because it's not true.
And there go 2 viewers.
There goes our 2 viewers. Fuck, we lost them. Anyways, Ryan Johnson recently. Ryan Johnson, who we spoke about quite extensively today, said that Dave Bautista is the greatest wrestler turned actor of all time. So I want to put it out to you, Steve. Who's the greatest actor turned wrestler of all time? Of course, we see The Rock and John Cena here, both of them mega millionaire, mega stars. We got Hulk Hogan. I think I know who you're going to say. Something about chewing bubblegum would be my guess.
Roddy, motherfucking Piper. Hell comes to Frogtown.
Okay, but here's my question. Do you really put put Piper ahead of Edge?
No, that's my heart. That's my heart, man.
Yeah, but you know who Edge is, right?
I know who Edge is.
And he was on your favorite show, Vikings.
Vikings, yeah.
And he did. I heard he did great on that show.
Yeah, he did a good job.
And he's in the new Percy Jackson show.
The nanny was so fucking good. Or Mr. Nanny.
I fucking hate you so much. So much.
And fucking
the nanny was almost as good as the Tooth Fairy for The Rock.
What's the one I'm trying to think of? He's no longer with us.
Rocky 3? Oh, fucking No Holds Barred.
No Holds Barred, thank you.
So he might actually be the best one, but I think he was an actor turned wrestler turned back to actor. Because I don't remember ever seeing Tony List or Tony Little.
I remember that storyline very briefly.
Yeah, because I don't remember ever seeing him wrestle before No Holds Barred.
Yeah.
The movie came out, then he had a run against Hulk Hogan, and then he never wrestled again. The next thing we know, he's in Friday.
Very brief. That was over quicker than the fucking fabulous fucking Mae Young giving birth to that slimy green hand.
That is still the greatest fucking wrestling bit of all time. Mark Henry having sex with an 80-year-old woman, getting her pregnant, And then on live television, she gives birth to a fucking hand. Not only that, on like the 20-year anniversary of that, they brought the hand out to fucking, that was like a full-grown hand. That gave a shout out.
I refuse to believe that. Oh.
Really? All the shit we've seen in the WWE, and you refuse to believe that?
I refuse to believe that at the time. And then you never fucking talked about it again.
Dude,
that's around the point where I was like, I'm done with wrestling.
Dude, the way I looked at it, if I wasn't done with it with fucking the Road Warriors and the Ultimate Warrior and Coco Beware and all that other fucking shit, nothing else was going to get me out. Because if you remember me, though, when we were growing up, my favorites were Bret Hart, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, fucking Ravishing Rick Rude, Jake the Snake, all the guys that were real dudes that just had like a nickname that went along with them. Hulk Hogan, I fucking hated Hogan growing up. I remember getting his toy and being like, oh. Like even Junkyard Dog. And I only like Junkyard Dog. What's that?
Hate him all you want. You weren't getting up from that leg drop.
I would have got up.
Worst finishing move ever.
And the best part about it is he did that leg drop so many times, and this isn't the best part, but he had to have surgery so many times on his hip because he just fucking kept doing the same.
He divulged that on fucking Bubba the Love Sponge.
He's like, oh, I don't know why. I just couldn't jump on my fucking ass 1,000 times a year without some kind of permanent damage. We love you, Hulk. Come on the show. We'd go to Florida. Well, the white guy.
We'd even not.
The white guy would go to Florida.
I
don't know if I'd go, but we'd go do karaoke with you for sure. It's so wrong. We got way off track there. So Roddy Piper, though, that's your number one. I mean, it's hard. Honestly, he was great in They Live.
He was,
and he was great on Always Sunny. But he played a fucking wrestler that was basically Roddy Piper.
But he was Roddy Piper, yeah. Which, as much as I hate to say it, I got to go with The Rock, even though he kind of plays the same person in every fucking movie.
Yeah, I think The Rock's had the most enjoyable movies out of.
I'm blinded by his success.
Yes, but I think Dave Bautista is possibly the worst actor of them all, but he's the smartest when it comes to his roles. Blade Runner, 2049, Dune, fucking this Knives Out, Glass Onion shit. Like he's making some really smart decisions.
The zombie movie.
Is it the zombie movie? Oh, I didn't see that one. Was it dumb? You loved it though.
I did love it.
Yeah,
not because Dave Bautista though.
But you just loved it because you got to see two zombies having sex.
I mean, it wasn't the first time, but it was cool.
Have you seen that movie? Which one was it called? It was Dave Bautista, and it was the Las Vegas heist movie where there was all zombies around as well. Yeah, I forget what it's called.
I can't remember. Someone will chime in. We still have
yeah, we still got 6 people. I'm so surprised we had that. What was it, 32 at some point? I'm like, who are all these people? Well, thank you for coming on. We love you. All right. So that's it. All right. I don't know who I'm going with my wrestler, but maybe Zeus. I mean, that's where I got my nickname from. The Price brothers, their stepdad called me Zeus. He still calls me Zeus. So yeah. They still call me Bruce, and they still call me Zeus. All right, I know I'm knocking it out of the park here. I'm on a whole different water world. I'm trying to get a good segue here.
Yeah, not like Kevin Costner though.
Not like Kevin Costner. No, more like a Jim Cameron.
Right.
The Way of Water.
Chippewa native.
That's right.
Yeah.
We don't hold it against them though.
We don't. We love Chippewa.
We should. We really should, though. Chippewa's fucked up. Chippewa makes Welland look good.
He did go to high school in the Falls, and that must be where he just, his parents decided to move to California. he wrote this unbelievable script called Terminator, and that just brought us on the journey we're on today. And 12 years later, we got a fucking sequel to Avatar, which I liked in the theaters, but I haven't watched it since.
Right. So I was gonna watch the first one the other day because I'm like, it's been so long since I watched Avatar, and maybe, just maybe, I'll watch the second one to see what it's like. And then I checked it on the and holy 3 hours long, that fucking movie. And the new one's supposed to be longer than that.
The story's not that solid, and Sam Worthington ain't that great an actor.
I do like Sam Worthington, but you're right, it's not that great of a story. I mean,
visually stunning.
And I know everybody says this, but can we just be honest? It's Pocahontas. It's fucking Honest. It's a bunch of white dudes go to this different planet or different country where all these native people all these blue people act very indigenous. And that's not a bad thing. But and then it's fucking John Smith fucking falling in love with fucking Pocahontas and them having a kid. Am I wrong? I see you clasping your mouth, but am I wrong? No, I'm not wrong. It's fucking Pocahontas, right? It is fucking Pocahontas. It's Pocahontas.
I mean, who said it? There's basically only like 4 stories.
6.
5 stories, 6 stories.
So 6 stories that everything else comes from. But this is so on the nose. That movie was so on the nose. Because I remember when it came out. And
just like Harry Potter and Star Wars.
That one took me a while, though, because I didn't watch really the Harry Potter. I've only seen one Harry Potter movie.
Afterwards?
Yeah, after we've seen that shit. Fuck those guys. Fuck her. I mean, whatever.
Send all your hate mail to wellandwingnut@gmail.com.
I say good
for you for years.
Good
I'm
for
still
her.
waiting. Other than that 800 pieces of fucking email from Goldie, I got nothing from you people. Nothing.
Goldie sent you email for what? Or are you talking old school?
I said 800, but I'm lying.
It was a long time ago. Some old shit coming up right now. Speaking of Jim Cameron and Avatar, we've all seen we've all heard the story. We've seen Matt Damon talk about it, that he was originally offered the lead role, Sam Worthington's role in the original Avatar, and 10% of the fucking movie. So he would own 10% of Avatar, which is the highest grossing movie of all fucking time. So, but he was doing the Bourne movies and it just didn't work out. So we've heard that story a million times. Well, Jim Cameron has also heard that story a million times. And Jim came out and said he wants Matt Damon to be in a future Avatar movie, but he doesn't get 10%. Fuck that, is the actual quote from Jim Cameron. Just showing how truly Canadian and Niagara region he is. Yeah. Fuck that. I've never been a big Jim Cameron guy. I dug this. And I like Matt Damon. I kind of dug this.
Yeah, same. I definitely always been a fan of Matt Damon, Cameron, love Terminator,
1 and 2.
His work since then. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's done some cool shit, actually exploring the bowels of our earth, which is very cool. Seen probably one of his 12 documentaries that he's put out. But other than that, until recently listening to him on a podcast, I really didn't have an opinion on I like this guy or don't like this guy.
And now you don't like him.
And I do like the guy. I do like the guy, and I'm glad Avatar 2 is doing well, but it's probably not a movie I'm going to watch until there's a HD version on.
Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking. When that HD thing comes out, you and I and maybe 10 people or however many people we can find, we go to Ridgeway and we put, as long as there's 10 of us and we put $20 up each, we rent the fucking theater and just watch that shit all our own. Yeah.
Cool. Like
But-
the actual Avatar, or
Yeah,
like
because you know, like the new one, and
Oh,
it's over 3 hours long. The reason why I say this,
that was the porn version.
because at that theater in Ridgeway, we could be like, "Yo,
I'm just trying to throw you off. But
no, yeah, I know, I just ignore you now." But we could pause it and go take a piss. We can have a piss break halfway through that fucking 4 hour long movie, 3 hour, however long it is. All right, that's it. That was my Jim Cameron story. You got the next one.
I
You
do.
gotta-
One of the things that happened this year, you know, we didn't really do our year in review rundown. One of the things that happened this year, though, was, if I can find it,
Was
I didn't have,
his name is Rock, yo,
I didn't have a picture of that.
of
I
Chris
swear I
Rock.
did. I swear, no, the slap.
Oh,
It was the year of the slap, and I didn't
it
get a
was the
picture.
slap. You did not get a picture of the slap.
So
You
I'll
had a
just
picture of Chris Rock, but you didn't have a picture of.
Yeah, it was the year of the slap, and we just found out that Chris Rock's going to be doing the first ever live stand-up set on Netflix in March of this year. He just finished up his tour. Hasn't really talked about the slap. I know someone who saw that tour personally. Hasn't talked about the slap.
Yeah.
Definitely plans to talk about the slap in this upcoming show. So,
Well, that's what he said, right? Like right after the slap happened, he had a stand-up routine. Like the
it was
next
ready.
night, or the
Yeah,
next
he wrote.
week. He's like, I will talk about this, but it's gonna take time.
Yeah.
And yeah, right on, man. I'm down for it. I mean, I'm over the slap. Maybe it's our age. Maybe it's our age and the generation we're from. And the slap, I look at it and I'm like, oh, you're an idiot for doing that. But I also look at it and I'm like, okay, I get it, because we're from that age where that's
Yeah.
when we were growing up. That's what you do. Someone disrespects my woman.
And I am over it, but I
will,
think I
but
would
you
have been a
know,
lot
you
better
gotta-
with it had it been handled properly that night.
Yeah, or handle it afterwards when the cameras aren't on. But I get it. I get the Gen X. We had a weird machismo thing where we were trying to be like, we grew up and we're trying not to be as hard as our parents and be like so like, oh, fucking cold as they could be, or as their parents could be, or or our grandparents could be.
You knew Lemon. That was hard. That
Yeah,
was a fucking bar.
but still, we still also tried to be hard as well, you know, like, okay, you disrespected us, we scrap it now, which is, you know, it is what it is. But it fucked up stand-up comedy for a little bit, that's for sure. And speaking of stand-up comedy, I mean, there's some other people that have been talking about doing some stand-up, and I don't know how I feel about this. I already know how I feel about this. But Steve, like,
You see, what the kids today don't know is what the comedy is all about.
As you can hear, Steve is doing his Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was on a podcast, WGH Talk, with host Scott Spears. And Spears asked Cosby if he wanted to go out and tour again and do more comedy. And Cosby said yes for touring in 2023.
Hey, I put something in your drink.
It's an open bar at every one of his shows. It is an open bar. Why, Bill? Why?
I said to you earlier before the show, I'm like, I guarantee he doesn't think he's done anything wrong.
No, and he's maintained that though the entire. Remember last year, they had offered him to be able to get out earlier, like 6 months earlier or something like that, or 9 months earlier, as long as he just admitted he did something wrong. And he's like, I didn't fucking do shit wrong. Keep me in jail. Like, either he knew he was getting out like 6 months later, no matter what, or dude genuinely believes he didn't do anything wrong. But when there's like, what was it, 23 women? I ain't even saying shit anymore, like, because, like, fuck Deshaun Watson, too. Am I wrong?
No.
Listen, and Bill Cosby might think he's out of it, but Bill Cosby was just named in another sexual assault lawsuit today, just fucking today, stemming from an alleged 1986 encounter. Bill, maybe you should have just tried fucking the Jello. Like, stick your dick in a warm bowl of Jello, and maybe that would have helped. There's just too many. It's the same thing with Deshaun Watson. I was ready to give Deshaun Watson the benefit of the doubt until it was more than 3 women. And I'm not saying that it has to be 3 or more. I'm just saying I think everybody's innocent until proven guilty, unless you've got like 40 fucking people saying.
And unfortunately, we don't even live in that society anymore.
Right? Like, fuck. I won't even take Deshaun Watson in my fantasy leagues. Like, I'm not even joking. I will not take that dude in my fantasy league.
I almost took Pittsburgh's defense as a pickup this fucking, and I'm in the regulation round.
Yeah, I know, but that's different. Have you ever had Roethlisberger on your team? Because I know how much you hate Ben.
Nope.
And you hate him more for the rape thing than you do about him being a Steeler. So,
accusation. Just to be clear,
it makes me feel like I'm Cameron and those guys are Ferris, and they just do everything wrong, and nothing happens to them. And poor Cameron, just let my Cameron go. You like that?
I know this ain't proper English, but nothing happened this week earlier at an auction in the United States where the Ferrari from Ferris Bueller's Day Off got sold for $377,000, which seems kind of cheap to me for a classic Ferrari.
I mean, okay, $377,000.
Yeah.
I mean, all right.
I mean, I could have bought that.
Like, after how many banks you robbed? How much blood did you have to sell for that? Phil, let me talk to you. Would you buy it? You're like me. You're not a big car guy, though.
No, I'm not a big car guy, but I've especially recently, I've expressed a lot of interest in investing in a couple of famous movie cars and having that be my retirement.
Are you going to buy the Batmobile, or you're going to buy a DeLorean?
And just travel around the cons?
Are you going to buy a DeLorean? You got to buy something besides the DeLorean. You got to buy something that somebody else doesn't drive.
I'm actually leaning more towards Cheech's car from Up in Smoke and Al's
the Dodge.
Al's Dodge. Because I don't got to do nothing to those cars except for destroy them.
You can't drive the Al's Dodge anywhere because that shit don't fucking work. All right. It's too funny.
But those Impalas are expensive.
All right.
Even in shit condition.
Talk about shit condition. Do you remember, and I don't mean him, but do you remember I had Brett Chan, who's a friend of ours. He is a stunt coordinator on Warrior, on Halo, on the Addams Family, or Wednesday, I should say, not the Addams Family, but Wednesday. He's done so many of those. He was one of the main stunt coordinators on the World's Deadliest Warrior that used to be on Spike TV. Great guy. He was also the stunt coordinator on Iron Fist for Netflix, starring Finn Jones. You might remember Finn from Game of Thrones. Finn says that he wants to return as Iron Fist and prove all those motherfuckers wrong. I'd love another chance. There's something about the underdog. I love the underdog narrative. I love the ability to prove someone wrong, and I want to prove all those motherfuckers wrong. I know I have it in me, and I know I can give the Danny Rand performance that the fans want, and I know is possible.
He sounds like a Horned Frogs fan.
I hate your guts so fucking much right now. So Danny Rand, Iron Fist, is supposed to be one of the greatest martial artists in all of MCU. Him and Shang-Chi. They hire Finn Jones to play this part because he looks just like Danny Rand, blonde hair, blue eyed kid. He was on Game of Thrones. He was originally the Viper, I think, before they changed it to not Oscar Isaac, Pedro Pascal. But on the show, it didn't translate. And you could see it didn't look like he was all that polished and all that great martial arts. And I interviewed Brett, who was a stunt coordinator, and there was a lot of talk of how certain stars, this is how he said it, certain stars, he didn't say him exactly, but he's like, when certain stars, especially your leads, refuse to work out or train, it's going to be a train wreck, especially in a show based on martial arts. I'm sorry, this shit right here, you want to prove the motherfuckers wrong? You had your fucking chance to prove the motherfuckers wrong and put the fucking work in. I'm sorry, but fuck that guy. I mean, I thought he did a decent job acting, but the martial arts wasn't there. And then you heard more and more stories about how difficult he was on set. And I'm sorry, you're not Bill Murray or Chevy Chase. You don't get that. So. What'd you say, douche?
No,
I didn't say that. Come on the show. No. Don't even bother. I mean, do you remember him from Game of Thrones, Finn Jones?
yeah, vaguely, yeah.
Like I think he was like a swords master or something. I'm not really sure.
I'm pretty sure
I
he
didn't
was.
start watching at that
Pretty
point.
sure he was one of like the pirates.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I stopped at that point. So,
Pretty sure.
but I mean,
yeah.
it is what it is. I'm not very patient that way. We're into your movie, so I think we're done your stories at this point.
That's it, man.
That's it for your stories. I got a couple here, and we'll get through them real quick here. First up, there's a rumor for the MCU that the new Thunderbolts movie, the mission will be to obtain adamantium. And Steve, if that sounds familiar at all, adamantium is the metal that coats the bones of Wolverine. So this will be the first time we've heard adamantium mentioned in the MCU. We know the X-Men will be coming eventually. They also say the adamantium is going to be coming from Tiamat, whose body has been turned into an island. That's the Celestial. If you watched, oh my God, the Eternals, that's the Celestial that's been dead in the ocean with its hand coming out. But that will be the new island of Genosha, which is the home of the mutants in the comic book. So that's pretty fucking cool. If that's true, that's just a big ass rumor for right now. But I dig it. Also keeping with MCU, Austin Butler, who played Elvis in Elvis, wants to play Johnny Storm. I love this because he's naturally blonde. If you look at the picture right there, that's what Johnny Storm looks like as a comic book character, and that's Austin Butler beside him. I think he looks just like him. I think he's a great actor too. And I'd be down with that. Give me John Krasinski as Reed Richards still. Give me Emily Blunt as Sue Storm. His wife in real life be his wife in the movies. And then for Ben Grimm, the Thing, the guy that's made out of rock, what if we did Dwayne Johnson? No, I'm just kidding. Have The Rock play a rock guy. Joking. Ben Grimm's Jewish, though. So I think it's important you have a Jewish guy play him. But you need a bigger, muscular guy, because even before he turns into the Rock thing, he was still big. I don't know who you go with. Like Seth Rogen? Who are you pointing? Are you pointing at me? I'm not Jewish.
I mean, a quick conversion can solve that.
No, I'm Jewish that way already, but I'm not Jewish. My shit's tight, but so stupid. So stupid. And moving on. So we found this meteorite that hit the Earth, and it's got two. This is what I love about this story. So it's a meteorite that hit the Earth, and it has two alien minerals in it. Isn't a meteorite already alien by nature because it's not from? So I mean, if a meteorite hit the planet and then it had minerals in it that were from Earth, then I'd be like, oh fuck, how the fuck did that happen? But the fact that it's not, I mean, isn't that the way we? That was a news story, and I just had to share it. I'm sorry, just like, but fuck those guys. 2020 was great. We got some things to talk about here as well. Steve, you got this up here.
I mean, prejudice aside, the biggest reunion, and you know what? For all you people that have been crying and bitching and complaining that this isn't a reunion, it is a reunion, and it is a tribute, and it's all those things. And I'm sorry, but their first few shows, they sounded fucking amazing. So Pantera's back together, and they're here to stay for at least a couple of years. So
yeah, just enjoy it. And listen,
Queen still tours.
And Queen doesn't have the singer. I'm sorry. The singer is the hardest part of any band to replace. I'm sorry. I don't care how good a guitarist or a drummer or a bassist is. They're still replaceable without the general audience knowing. But if you replace the voice, it's a different voice and it's totally different. This, though, it's the same fucking voice. It's the same voice that you've always loved with Pantera. And it's guys that have loved and grown up with Pantera that are filling in there, that are friends of the fucking band. Like, shut the yeah. That's just some angry people shit. We're leaving that in 2020.
You want to stay angry?
Oh, Elon Musk. Well, that was a big story this year. I don't know how angry this makes me. It almost makes me laugh more than anything else.
I really don't have a horse in the race.
You know what's funny about this is my thing with Elon Musk. So a few years ago, Elon Musk was every liberal's favorite person because he was trying to give everybody free energy and save the world and stop pollution and stuff. And then he took this wide fucking turn and he's gone the opposite way. And he's like, I'm going to buy Twitter. I'm going to say it's for free speech, but I'm going to stop people from speaking. And then I'm going to be like, I'm the CEO and I'm really cool and people love me. So you know how much I'm going to prove it. And I'm going to put a poll up and I'm going to say, listen, do you want me to stay on as CEO of Twitter or not? And the poll would, and of course, just like Jason Todd in the fucking comic books, are you going to vote to see him live or die? The people voted to see him die. And Elon will be stepping down from Twitter. But careful what you ask for, folks, because he's just going to put somebody in there for him that'll say all the shit that he wants.
Would you say that's, for the little people, it's like a go? Or not?
I'm sorry, what did you say? It muted out there for a second.
I'm sorry, I stuttered a bit.
Yeah. So Messi finally gets his fucking gold like he was hoping for. His World Cup, completing his collection, what he needed to solidify him as the greatest of all time, I think. Happy New Year, guys. Be good or don't get caught. Thanks, brother. Hope you have a good one too, Kurt. Yeah, I mean, I hate soccer. I don't hate soccer, but I'm pretty close to hating soccer. It's just so fucking boring. Yeah. But that was literally the most exciting game I've seen since the 90s when Baggio, Roberto Baggio played. And I will always remember that game. And I didn't even mean to put it on when I put it on. And I was like, holy shit, like this game it was intense. So I'll give you guys that one. But that's it. That's where my love for soccer dies, much like other things in England that die. Oh, too soon?
Not for this show. We're pretty lowbrow.
We are pretty lowbrow. The next thing that died out of England, most notable, was the Queen Mother. I do not mean to laugh. It's just the fifth tequila right now. So Steve's laughing.
Wellandwingnut@gmail.com.
Send all your hate mail to the Wellandwingnut. It's so strange that the Queen and everything that whole monarchy has stood for and all the atrocities that they've done throughout centuries, yet there's still a part of me that looks on her like, oh, I mean,
She was great.
She was great.
She was great for like eight
8 years of her fucking 70 or 100
I
years.
mean, 8 decades you could go if you want. 800 plus goals. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, so you think for like 80 years she was good out of her 100?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And the people loved her. Like the people loved her. And it's not seeming that way with Charles, or has it ever been that way?
Long live the king.
It is what it is. We had some other shit that happened this year. Ovi, number 2 goal scorer of all time in the NHL. I knew that he'd overtake Gordy, but he needs what, 3 30-goal seasons?
Yeah, he needs like 80 more.
Yeah.
80 plus.
Yeah, because when he beat it, I think he needed 90 goals. But yeah, he scored a couple times.
Wayne's like 892 or something like that.
I'm going to put it out there. He doesn't get it.
Yeah.
I don't want him to get it. And I'm not a Gretzky guy. I like Ovi. I do like Ovi. I just don't want him to get it. I don't know what it is. I just don't want him to get it. I think I do. I think I wanted it to be a Canadian.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
I mean, Connor McDavid, in a few,
I mean, he's got a long ways to go, but he's pretty impressive as well. So
yeah.
It was pretty awesome. You know what else was awesome? You and I, we come from Welland, and we've got a lot of friends that I would consider broflakes. For those of you that don't know what a broflake is, you see all the people that complain about wokeness and complain about snowflakes and complain and cry about everything. And most of their crying is saying that other people cry without any kind of hint of irony to that at all. So broflakes, oh my God, these last 2 days were fucking brilliant for me. And I was so happy to find out they were pretty brilliant for you too, Steve. And that is when ex-fighter Andrew Tate, who's been on the run from the law because of accusations of sexual trafficking and rape, filming women while they were being raped as well. He got into it. He decides out of the blue, he's like, I'm going to text Greta Thunberg. And he's going to say about his cars and how he loves fucking driving them in all their emissions. And Greta replied, yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldickenergy@getalife.com. Because Andrew Tate said, I have 33 cars, my Bugatti blah, 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 quad turbo, my 2 Ferraris. And this is just the start. And yeah, he is just fucking... And listen, you're a fighter, and you're arguing with a 19-year-old girl who's trying to save the planet. You're so angry at this girl because she did what? Said, please try not to fucking put so much pollution out there. Remember when we had Captain Planet? I wonder if Captain Planet came out today, if Broflakes would cry about it, saying it's this woke agenda. I'm just saying. So she put out this big dick energy thing, and Andrew Tate replies with a video about saying how he's loving life and had his pizza delivered to him. The pizza box right there that you can see in the picture that has the pizza company on it, saying where this fugitive was staying. Sure enough, he was in Romania. Romanian police saw that, put 2 and 2 together. And now Andrew Tate and his brother are both in Romanian jail. only for 30 days, but I mean, dumb ass. And good. Like, for real good. I mean, anything he videotaped happening to those girls, I truly, truly hope is happening to him and his brother in jail in Romania right now. Sorry. No, not even a little bit sorry. And it's so funny. You and I had talked about a few of our friends that you've unfriended a bunch of them. One of them's tried to refriend me, and I haven't looked at their pages, but I guarantee they're pro-Tate. This is against our freedom of speech and blah 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 blah. Why is it they only care about their speech and nobody else's speech?
You do you, man. You do you.
You know what? He's not going to be able to because Igor's going to be doing him and his brother in jail. So either way, that's it. That's it for the news.
Don't go to Romania. I'm just kidding. We love Romania. Come on the show.
Come on the show, Romania, the entire country.
Right.
Please do. just said Vlad, the Impaler. Before we go, last thing we did promise you, we're going to give you the TikToker of the week. We've had this gentleman on before. I think he's great. And this one just absolutely nailed the end of 2022. So for your viewing pleasures.
You heard about Pope Benedict?
What?
Pele?
You took Pele?
What are you talking about?
Barbara Walters! Jesus!
Hey, there's a lady at the gate asking for 2020. What's she look like? Does this mean you're not gonna renew my contract?
You killed 3 people in the last 3 days!
So I'm killing it.
Jesus.
The line at the gate's getting very long. You know, they say bad things come in threes.
I know.
Whoa! What's that supposed to mean? I feel attacked.
Jesus.
Do we have a second VIP wing? Cause...
Oh, fuck!
So that's BMO Prince. Yeah, we love it. He always does these skits where he's either COVID variant, or he's different years, God, Jesus, and yeah, he nailed it as per usual and felt like a pretty good one to go out with at the end of the year. Steve and I will have our own TikToks going on next year for you. Probably not. Tell you what, though, buddy, we've got hour and a half before the new year hits. So
yeah, I got to get to bed.
Yeah, and I've got to go outside and smoke a joint. But folks, this has been a fun year. We've got to do a lot of great shit this year. Got to host a lot of great panels. Steve, I was so happy for you to be able to host fucking panels at Frightmare in the Falls this year. Like, it was long overdue, and it's something that you should have been doing a long time ago. So really happy you were able to do that. We got to see and meet so many great people this year and so many great fans. And the page grew. I don't know how the page keeps growing, but we'll take it. And we love the fact that you join us each and every week for this show. I don't know. I'm trying not to get too corny at the end here because I'm drinking tequila and we'll start crying soon. No. But I do want to say a big thank you to you guys. We got the acting done this year. We got some big shows we went to this year, and things are only going to go bigger and better for us in 2023. And we hope the absolute same for you. And as always, I mean, there's not a better person for me to be doing this show with than this guy right here. I mean, I feel like we've been doing this show since 1984 or so, since we used to make our old radio show back at my grandparents' place in Sherpston when we were kids. So
before cancel.
We've been canceled though. We have been canceled, and we keep coming back. So, but yeah, you're obviously more than a best friend. You're like a brother to me. So, lots of love to you, to Facebook user, to mom. Pops, and of course the kids. I hope you had a good one, and thanks for always being there for me, brother.
No problem, man. Everybody be safe this New Year's. We want you to all arrive alive so we can see you and talk all things geek next year, man.
That's right. If you are out tonight, what are you still doing watching the show? But if you are out, enjoy yourselves. And like Steve said, be safe out there. Not only do you have to worry about ride, but you have to worry about arriving home alive. So if you are drinking, take a cab. And we wish you all the best. Hope you had a great Christmas. Hope you had a great 2022. And from the Wellandwingnut, from myself,
I'll drop anytime now.
the ball is about to drop, and the shoe's about to drop as well. For the Wellandwingnut, it's your boy Zeus. Happy New Year. Wish you all the best. Peace out.